Hello, hello again to another Agricolor React, and today we will be watching Spin Gravity Compared from Overview Effect. And something that I often wonder when I'm reading books, I mostly read science fiction, sometimes I do read some fantasy, and in science fiction there's often mention of spin gravity and the Coriolis forces, and I'm just like, what does that mean? So let's just jump into it and just see what kind of, and why is there actually, because I thought spin gravity it would be just the same, but apparently it's not, so let's just learn something new.
Spinning to make artificial gravity is a classic element of hard sci-fi, and it's been imagined from ring worlds the size of the solar system to asteroids to tiny ships just a few meters wide. So I wanted to see if I could put their scale into perspective, but
Yeah,
also
the
understand the
expanse.
dynamics between the different
Excellent show.
variables of spin
Excellent
gravity.
books.
One of the smallest practical examples is the Discovery 1 from 2001 Space Odyssey. At the front of the ship there is a sphere with a centrifuge inside. That centrifuge rotates at about 5 RPM and creates 0.17 g, the same amount of gravity as the moon. There are 4 interdependent variables for spin gravity, and you can engineer your station by changing these variables. The first 2 I've already mentioned: angular velocity or spin rate, shown in RPM, and centripetal acceleration or gravity level, shown in G's. There is a maximum spin rate for human comfort, the maximum where people wouldn't be dizzy or sick, and 5 or 6 RPM has been suggested by studies as the maximum. But even that is still pretty fast, and it's probably going to make some people sick, which was accurately depicted in the movie Interstellar. The ship Endurance rotates at 5.5 RPM, and poor Romilly must have run out of Dramamine.
Can we stop the spinning?
But it produces more gravity than the Discovery with nearly the same RPM because it has a larger diameter. When you increase the diameter, it slows down the spin rate needed to make the same amount of gravity. That's the third variable. Math uses radius, but I'm going to be using diameter because I think that makes more sense for people. Another way to increase the diameter is to use a tether, and that's what the ship Hail
Project
Mary
Hail
uses
Mary.
in Andy Weir's book.
Yeah, it's a
Project
brilliant
Hail Mary.
book too.
It flips the crew compartment.
It's such a great idea for the book. Like, I mean, the encounter of different species and all that is just, I could not put that book away. It's the same author that did The Martian, and I have the same thing with The Martian book. And the movie are absolutely brilliant.
180 degrees, extends to 100 meters, and spins at 4.2 RPM to create 1 G. But that's still pretty fast. 1 RPM has been suggested as a reasonable limit for the average person, and that's what the Space Station 5, also from 2001, rotates at. Just under, actually. And it produces the same 0.17 G as the Discovery at that speed. But 0.17 G is a little low for comfort and maybe human health. So to get a reasonable level of gravity and RPMs, we have to go bigger. The Babylon 5 space station is 800 meters in diameter and also rotates at an even 1 RPM.
Whoa, that's big.
It produces 0.45
I mean,
G
well,
because
obviously.
of its 800
The
meter
Behemoth, the Nauvoo was so
The
wow.
OPAS
I mean,
behemoth-
like, obviously, in the Expanse, the Nauvoo was straight up saying the biggest ship ever constructed in the human history. Obviously, it's not the biggest thing that was constructed in human history through the science fiction and all that in fiction, but still, that was a 2 kilometers length of the drum inside. Like, look how that compares to, let's say, the what was this place from Interstellar, isn't it? The Endurance here, and then this one. And Babylon 5, I've never really seen Babylon 5, so I can't really say much about it, but still, that's just cool. I mean, I really like the Expanse. I think it's really, really great show, and the books are absolutely brilliant too. So
from the Expanse is 960 meters in diameter and rotates a little slower at 0.75 RPM and produces 0.3 G. In the Expanse, 0.3 G is the standard for gravity in the outer planets and under thrust, but in real life there are no studies showing longer-term low G health implications more than 1 year in 0 G, So it's not yet known what the minimum is.
Cooper Station,
Cooper
Interstellar.
Station from
What's the biggest
Interstellar
in
is
there?
never shown from the outside, and its size and specs can only be speculated on from images in the film, and so it has been hypothesized to be 1.6 kilometers in diameter. But if we make it just slightly larger, we have the settings for an ideal cylinder. 1.8 kilometers in diameter with 1 RPM and 1 G of gravity. Rama from Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke is 18 kilometers in diameter on the outside
Wow.
and 16 on the inside. It rotates at 0.25 RPM, completing a full
Have to
rotation
check out that
once
book.
every 4 minutes, which produces 0.56 G on the inside. From here on out, I'm going to switch from the RPM to the time it takes for one full rotation, because after the diameter gets large enough, the RPMs don't matter anymore. Exactly what that diameter is debatable, but we've definitely passed it by this point with Rama. What does become the limiting factor is the fourth variable.
You see the Babylon 5, it's so small that the other ones, it's a tiny one, but the other ones are not even there. I mean, they're there, but...
And this is a great example of sci-fi using science to create drama. In the book, tangential velocity becomes a problem, but 527 miles per hour is small potatoes compared to what's coming. The Elysium space station from the movie of the same name is a Stanford torus, 60 kilometers in diameter, and spins at 1 G,
Really?
completing a full rotation in 5 minutes and 47 seconds.
That was that big?
Its tangential velocity is 1,213 miles per hour. Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt, and in the expanse is a space station that was spun up. And I didn't realize this, but it's 7 times larger than the Death Star at 970 kilometers in diameter. The show did not capture how massive it is. It is the largest object in the asteroid belt. It makes up 25% of the mass of the entire asteroid belt. But it's not actually an asteroid anymore. It has been reclassified as a dwarf planet. I have to comment. Ceres has a natural gravity from its mass of 0.029 G, but in the expanse it was spun up by the Tycho Corporation to produce 0.3 G. No small feat.
Nope.
And there's a reason why most of these are rings in cylinders and not spheres. Because when spheres spin, the centripetal acceleration is concentrated on the axis of rotation. And not only does it diminish as you move closer to the core, but it also diminishes as you move away from that axis.
So basically saying that it's like with the Earth, isn't it? There's a bigger gravity on the equator and lower gravity on the poles. So it will be the same thing in the spheres and stuff. So if the actual, like the Ceres station would be like it was in the thing, so obviously alongside the spin, the gravity would be higher and lower on the ends of it. But yeah, like he said, the show didn't really show the size of it, so I didn't even realize it didn't. So that's it's cool though, seeing how big it is. And the fact that it's not asteroid anymore and it's actual dwarf planet, so it's just up there with the Pluto, isn't it? Yep, so yeah. And they really want me to go to Spain to holidays. I keep getting the same ad for some holidays. The same place. Oh wait, I need to stop and I need to put this back on and now we can play.
In the show, there's a graphic showing the tunnels inside Ceres in a spiral fashion, but that would be absolutely massive if it was that big, and it doesn't really make any sense spin gravity-wise. It's also at this point that the tangential velocity starts to become a problem. For man-made stations, the stresses produced by these ludicrous velocities probably would exceed the current material strengths and probably wouldn't be possible with current material sciences. And as for Ceres, it's questionable whether this asteroid planet is compact enough to maintain its structural integrity under spin load. We don't know how dense Ceres is yet, but scientists are starting to learn that most asteroids are loosely packed, and if you spun one up with a tangential velocity of 2,600 miles per hour, it might just disintegrate. The moon is 3,476 kilometers in diameter and produces gravity the old-fashioned way from mass, making 0.17 G. Alpha Halo from Halo is probably the most famous ring world. It is 10,000 kilometers in diameter, but it does not spin for gravity. It has artificial gravity hand-wavium generators that produce gravity. Why is it a ring then? Good question. I don't know. Probably because it looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm done with Halo. The Earth is 12,756.
It's almost as big as Halo, as Earth.
Spins at about
Wow.
1,000 miles per
I
hour.
haven't played Halo. I mean, I think I started once, but it's just kind of, it didn't really get my, I don't know if I had to do something else or what. It just didn't really get my attention that much, or I needed more time into it. Obviously, it's a good game because there's a lot of people and there's a lot of different games coming out. I did watch some shows and stuff like that in the Halo. I haven't watched the Halo show yet, but it's kind of interesting to look at. It's obviously science fiction, so it's something for me.
Its equator. And its gravity is, you guessed it, 1G.
Mm-hmm.
And also just here for
Halo.
scale,
Oh.
the original Halo installations known as the senescent array were 30,000 kilometers in diameter. If you've never heard of the Culture series by Ian Banks, it is a legend among sci-fi, and in it, most of the galaxy's
I must be a terrible fan of sci-fi because I actually never heard about it.
population lives on what are called orbitals.
Oh wait, no, I
which
heard
are
about it in one of the
ringworlds
videos, I
various
think.
Sizes.
Wow.
There are two known orbitals with detail, Mozak and Vavach. Mozak is only 6,000 kilometers wide, and Vavach is 35,000 kilometers wide. But Mozak is 3 million kilometers in diameter, and Vavach is 4.46 million. They have surface areas equal to 118 and 960 Earths, respectively. And the reason why orbitals come in different sizes is because their spin variables are scaled so that one revolution creates one standard day and one standard gravity for the preference of whichever species is living on them. This is possible because a natural day-night cycle can be created just by tilting the ring 1 or 2 degrees off of the ecliptic plane, and the ring naturally casts a shadow on half of itself. Only one variable, the diameter, is listed canonically, so we can't calculate what these are spinning at, but what if we made a hypothetical ring with Earth standards? An Earth ring with a 24-hour rotation period and 1G would be 3.7 million kilometers in diameter, and its tangential velocity would be over 300,000 miles per hour. And suspiciously, Vavach is 20% larger in diameter. But all of these are small script compared to the OG, Larry Niven's Ringworld. This thing is a true behemoth, standing at 1.6 million kilometers wide, with a radius slightly larger than the Earth's orbit around the Sun, at 150 million kilometers, making a total diameter of 300 million kilometers. And to produce just under 1G, the Ringworld is rotating around the star once every 9.37 days, and its tangential velocity is 2.7 million miles per hour. It has a surface area equal to 965 trillion square kilometers, almost a quadrillion, which is equal to over 3 million Earths. It is so ridiculously huge that all of the worlds from known space have a one-to-one map of themselves on the ring, with plenty of space to spare. Also, the day-night problem couldn't be addressed by tilting a ring that encircles the star completely. So he devised a shade system in which 20 shades, each one by 2.5 million miles in area, would rotate around the inner radius of the ring and produce a day-night cycle from their shadow. Such a ridiculously huge ring is well beyond any science that we have, but nevertheless, Larry Niven, like Andy Weir, got suggestions from his fans about the scientific accuracy of the Ringworld. At the Worldcon convention in 1971, MIT students chanted, "The Ringworld is unstable," because they identified that an object rotating around a star is not in a gravitational orbit. It has an equal pull on all sides and wouldn't naturally be in equilibrium. Eventually, it would drift one way or the other, colliding with the star. So Niven then addressed this in the next book by adding Bussard ramjets around the ring to maintain its position and creating some drama for the story too, which I won't spoil.
This is another time I hear about mention of those books, The Ringworld.
Heaven's River from the Bobiverse by Dennis E. Taylor. Heaven's River is a topopolis. A topopolis is...
One second, guys. I can hear Millie meowing if she wanna come in. Because it's about the time for her dinner, I guess. No, we're still more than 1.5 hours. No, George. Millie, say hi. Millie! Millie! You're right. I'm gonna get different thing. Here you go. Millie! Say hello to everyone! Yeah. She's black cat. I think she wanna stand on the desk. Yes, she likes to be on the desk. Millie! And she likes to be in the front of the screen as well. So I can't really hear that much, see that much. Well, we'll try to finish that video anyway. Millie!
Rotating space station like the cylinders previously shown, but stretched out all the way around a star. But Heaven's River says, hold my beer, and ties that into what is called a torus knot, going around the star 3 times in a helical fashion. And in true Bob fashion, the author says, there was no engineering reason for that, by the way, I just thought it was fun. Its diameter is slightly larger than the ring world at 321 million kilometers. It's not actually this thick. The diameter of the cylinder is only 180 kilometers, which is still pretty big, but from this distance you can't see it. So let's zoom in. It rotates inside a static shell, and I put Rama here for scale. And as for the total surface area, doing the math, it would be over 600 billion square kilometers, which is about 3,300 Earths. Still ridiculous, but not quite the ring world. So the ring world still holds the crown for the most ridiculous megastructure, but this one gets my thumbs up. It's pretty cool. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of other space stations. Please let me know in the comments if I missed anything big, pun intended. I have to thank my viewers for recommending the Bobaverse. I did not know about it until I started making these videos, and it's right up my alley as a socially isolated nerd. If you have any other sleeper sci-fi recommendations,
The real stars of Halo. Hey, Millie!
if you like this video, like it and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.
That was cool. I really like videos like that because they kind of showing all the scale and all. Oh, that's I'm really orange, you know. I'm wearing orange shirt and this now as well. So I'm gonna throw this away again. Yeah. So that was really cool. And basically, Millie, what would you like? You want to lay down? You want some scratches behind your ears? Huh? Yeah, that's what it is? Huh? Oh, she just loves some loving. She just wants some loving. And belly scratches, eh? Okay. Anyway, so that was really cool video. I really liked it. I really like when they're doing those comparisons in space and actually kind of showing this thing from small ones to go into next size and next size and next size. So obviously, I'm really interested in those books now. So yeah, I'll be checking them out later on my Kindle. And for now, did you watch any of the shows? Did you watch Expanse? Or you have to watch Expanse. There is no, if you like science fiction, you have to watch Expanse. Come on, people. So, thank you very much for watching, and I see you tomorrow. Bye.